Hello everyone! So, after this insane summon session, I guess I should probably talk about the characters, eh? So, let's talk about Silvia first. Now, a lot of people expect her not to get demoted for some obscure reason. I'm guessing because she's a dancer and because Lewyn did not get demoted. I'm sorry, but Lewyn had Sword Valor. Lewyn actually had a really good art as well. I'm sorry, it just kinda doesn't make sense to compare Silvia to her. A lot of things she had just doesn't really work together. And I will say also something before I actually get more deep into this. I'm still missing a file which is basically what shows what's available at 4 and 5 star to this character. I'm going to be posting this in the comments whenever I get it, but until then, I mean, I'm just gonna have to wait. Still, I already know what she has available at 4 and 5. Deluge Dance is available at 4 and Mirror Stance is available at 5. I'm saying this because she's most likely going to get demoted. Now, the skills she has are not horrible, but Barrier Blade is kind of just a worse Berku's Lance in a way. The reason why I say this is not because Berku's Lance does worse, has a worse effect or a better effect rather. No, it's just because there's not many sword unit that has a lot of res that can really abuse Barrier Blade, and there's not many meddling res unit. Like, a lot of sword unit have like 20 or less res, and that's a problem. Now, Mirror Stance is kind of nice, but at the same time it's kind of useless on any ranged units. On the bright, well, outside of, ooh, I can rest tank a bit better, even though that's kind of not needed to begin with. But yeah, whatever, right? On the bright side, it's basically Fear Stance 2 being added to the pool, and it's 240 SP cost. Alright, it has a purpose. Barrier Blade, on the other hand, is just kind of there, right? Honestly, it just kind of blows. But one thing I will say though, since she's going to most likely get demoted as a result, Barrier Blade might have a bit of a use then. Safeguard is by far a much better weapon. Another reason why Lewyn did not get demoted, honestly. But it's still usable on some unit, it's just kind of like hard to work with kind of deal. And if anything, I'm just thankful that it's a 3-man banner, because 3-man banners have such, they have much better rates. I think my summon sessions speak for itself, but even then I think that was more like pure fucking luck. I've never had this kind of chance ever, so... It started pretty normal, and then in the middle it just kind of exploded. So, you know. But yeah, most likely going to get demoted. Purely because also Quan has double Rally Plus, which is reason enough for him not to get demoted. Now, if Quan gets demoted, fuck yes, I want this. I want to plus 10 my boy. But I don't expect it to happen. If anyone has any hope of Quan getting demoted, please, do not kid yourself. I'm saying this because it becomes kind of a problem, in the sense that if you overhype yourself, you feel very bad when you know, at the end of the day, you are wrong. Hopefully you're not wrong, because I would be pretty happy, but just keep your expectation low, essentially, is what I'm saying. We might even not get a single demotion on this banner, because, well, it's a dancer. But like, if Silvia does not get demoted, no one will. I feel like it's just what it is. Now, one good thing about Silvia, though, before I keep going off tangent, she has a rest stat, so you can actually use ploys. The problem with that, however, is the fact that there's plenty of units that can actually use ploys, and the amount of unit that can actually give those ploys are, well, GHB, GHB, GHB. Wow! The entire family is here. Outside of, you know, Deirdre and Julia. But it's rough. It's really rough. I'm kind of sad to see that, because I would like to have more ploys available. Sonya, if she was 4-star, would give Rest Ploy, and if Katarina was available at 4-star, would give Attack Ploy. Attack Ploy 3 at 4-star, and Rest Ploy 3 at 4-star. There's also another character that gives Rest Ploy 3 at 4-star, but I don't remember which one it is on top of my head. So there's that. But right now we are stuck with basically, oh, use your seals. You can't use anything else. Which kind of blows, but it is what it is. The problem is there's a lot of characters like Fur that really likes to use those ploy, and some ranged units as well, because a lot of the problem with ranged units is just dealing with being able to take hits. So attack ploy becomes absolutely necessary in some cases. But, you know, maybe we'll get a mass demotion, fingers crossed, and then we'll actually have more ploys in the pool. So you can actually use her to her maximum potential. But as it stands, you're kinda screwed, sadly. Now, moving to the comparison. Oops. It's so clear night and day how underwhelming this girl is. Like, the only thing I could say that she does better is actually tanking magic. In fact, it's at a point where she can actually tank Reinhardt in the story chapter. At least my my alt's Reinhardt. She just can't tank the first 2 hits completely safe. But my Reinhardt is not attack plus, and this is a story chapter 1, meaning it has higher stats. So, you know. On the other hand, you have Lenny, who actually does most of what she does, but better, and same thing with Olivia. The big thing about Olivia and Lenny is they can actually use Safeguard well, whereas even if Silvia uses it, that's still only 24 def. Whereas if you're talking about Olivia, first off, she's easy to merge, and if you run Safeguard, that's 34 def. That's a whole 10 more def. And in Lenny's case, you have 30 def, 28 res when attacked, which is basically almost the same amount of res, but the def stat is actually good. Yes, it is true that Silvia has a bit more HP, and it's true that HP is your best line of defense against Black Luna. The problem with this is Bullfighter and Quick Riposte exist, and if she gets doubled, she's killed 100%. There's no way out of there. So, yeah, and even then, Black Luna would just lower their def to, like, at best 4. That's too little. Even with, like, a refine on the weapon, you have 49 bulk. That's still too low. And inside, Olivia and Lenny are actually better tankers when it comes down to Black Luna, because they can actually take normal hits as well for damn near no damage. My Olivia tanked a fucking Bullfighter Black Luna Zelgus. Zelgus was doing 2x2 on her. I think that about sums it up. So, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, if you're talking about infantry dancers for Red, she is honestly the worst dancer. And you should, like, really work on Olivia, and if you have Lenny, also Lenny. But for free-to-play player that don't exactly have a lot of dancers, she is amazing. Because it's just an extra dancer, what can I say? So, she is kind of the worst unit of the banner, though. But it is what it is. I expect her to get demoted, and I expect new player to actually have access to a new dancer. For free. Well, free. As free as, you know, summoning is, as a free-to-play player. But, yeah, it's definitely welcome. More dancers is always better. Alright, moving on to Quan. I'm kind of sad with what they did with Quan. He should not have double rally plus. I feel bad seeing him actually getting fothered off. Still, he's my boy, so I'm going to be merging his ass. A few people have been saying that he should be demoted purely because he gives drive attack 2 at 4-star. And to those people I say, well, I'm kinda sorry, but Marth, Leaf, and Micaiah all gave drive attack 2 at 4-star, all had a 5-skill kit, and guess what happened? They stayed 5-star exclusive. It's been a while since it's been that way. So, I don't expect them to be demoted for this reason. Plus double rally plus is more than enough for him to just stay in 5-star exclusive. Still, let's talk about stats, shall we? Now, his stats are a bit misleading in a way, because unless you're dealing with flyers, which basically comes down to 2 units, Myrrh and Summer Young Tiki, you actually have a 5 attack and 5 def buff. So in other words, you're seeing on 44 HP, 58 attack, 29 speed, 36 def, and 16 res, unbuffed with his weapon. It's kind of ridiculous how much attack this guy has. I believe, as a matter of fact, he has the highest attack of any cavalry unit of this game, which is kind of insane, honestly. I think Ares was the one who actually had the highest one before him. But that changed with Gable Quan, which even without the Gable effect already has too much attack compared to anyone else. So, you know. He's a fantastic unit, honestly. And if you build on his speed, he can be actually pretty speedy and actually abuse his attack stat. 69 attack comboed with 44, I think? Yeah, if you... 69 attack and 43 speed, I believe. Except mine is going to be merged, so he's going to have one more speed. It's kind of insane. Just kind of, you know? The only problem is he can't really run a 300 SP skill while doing this, whereas the other comparison can. So there's that, but outside of that, he's pretty much amazing. Now, speaking of comparison, let's go to comparisons. This is the only possible comparison I could make because his stat spread is so unique. The only other comparison I could have made were Finn and Camus. And guess what happened to those two? Ooh, I'm a GHB unit! Ooh, I'm a Tempest Trial unit! Hashtag Finn for pool, please. I want to plus 10 my boy. But, oh well. So, if you're considering Gaybolg, Quan is just straight power creep to Ephraim, stat-wise. I want to put emphasis on the stat-wise part, because someone is going to crucify me saying to me, but his lens is so good! I know his lens is good. Still, if you consider Gaybolg, so basically on everything but flyers, which flyers are not very there, you're looking at 44 HP, 1 more HP than Ephraim, 6 more attack than Ephraim, 2 more speed than Ephraim, and 3 more def than Ephraim, while losing 2 on res. Yeah, this is kind of insane considering he power creeps every single stat but the one that don't matter, for the most part. Because his res is already so low, it's kind of hard to do anything with it. Yeah, it's kind of insane. So, alright. The only thing it comes down to is just the weapon and how you build them. First off, Legendary Ephraim is kind of harder to get. Legendary banners are the fucking devil. For lack of a better term. But yeah. At the end of the day, if you are able to have a playstyle where you can keep Ephraim far from your team, it's kind of hard to keep your buff up as a result, but you can actually always double, which is really good. It's really, really, really good. However, you build on Quan's speed, you can actually double pretty consistently, and you don't even lose all that much when it comes down to power. Or defense, for that matter. You can actually run Life and Death and still have enough defense to almost match Ethlyn in bulk. Outside of, you know, res, but who cares about res? It's fucking res. So yeah. Kind of insane how good Quan is, but it kind of comes down to if you're lucky on IVs. And if you already have an Ethlyn built, don't bother with Quan unless you like the character, which is understandable. Quan is a very liked character when it comes down to FE4, so I can definitely understand why you would like him. So yeah, he's very underrated for some reason, and I'm kind of surprised to see that because 37 attack is huge. I'm just kind of sad he doesn't have like a super boon anywhere, but oh well. Like, if anything, I could change is maybe put like 3 more points into his speed, but I would be asking much, because at that point I would have 41 speed on buff. But, oh well. Moving on to the main man of this banner, Lewyn. Now, 5 to 34% chance of pulling this man at base percent. Yeah, that's kind of insane, isn't it? So, don't forsetti, eat your spaghetti, but there's a few things to talk about here. First off, he comes with a new B slot. This is not available for horses or flyers, because horses and flyers can never get new toys. Fuck them. I don't understand their abnormal hatred for flyers, but whatever. It is what it is, right? The only thing they got were basically, look, we have a bit more movement, which, I mean, is cool, but can we have something more substantial combat-wise? Meanwhile, armored units get bold fighters, special spiral, vengeful fighter, everything under the sun. Steady breath, because, you know, they really needed that. Flashing blade, because, you know, they really needed that. Anyway, so special spiral is basically what Ares' dark missile Tain is, or elegance, if you refine it. The reason why it's innately worse, however, is because it takes your B slot. The thing that really made Ares and Elegance so good with it is because you could actually put a lock with Bonfire, which resulted in basically just, ooh, I proc Vantage, I proc Bonfire immediately, you die, which is cool. It's actually really powerful and really useful. The problem is, on most units, special spiraled is fucking horrible. There is a few exceptions, obviously. As a matter of fact, I can think of 4 on top of my head that I can see using special spiral. The only problem I can see is, like, there's people that says, oh, Slaying Edge is really good with this, and I do agree. Slaying Edge with special spiral could be really good with Black Luna on Zelkis. The problem is, you know, Bolt Fighter. Armored unit just have so many good fucking B slots. It's basically a useless B slot for them a lot of time. And the problem is, if you run special spiral, you're purely enemy phase then. So that kind of sucks. That means you're useless on player phase. Oh, what's that? Special Spiral Zelgius? Okay, I'm just going to take the hit, because he's not going to double my ass. Or even if he doubled my ass, it's not really that dangerous. Unless he's running Slaying, then if he was running Slaying, then oh boy, he's going to maybe proc on me. Oh wait, I could just run Guard and he's fucked. Or a Special Fighter, or literally anything ever. The big problem about Special Spiral is getting to the point where you can actually proc it the first time. And there's not many special that can really abuse this at all. As a matter of fact, if you want me to be more precise, I can think of, well, those 4 characters. For example, Ishtar can really abuse AoEs with this, because she has a cooldown -1 weapon, meaning She will proc it, get 2 charge back, then attack immediately, get 1 charge, and there you go, AoE is back to charge, just like what Ares does. It's actually really solid for her because one other skill that infantry unit can use is infantry pulse. So if you pulse her with 3 characters, well, guess what? Your AoE is ready immediately, and Special Spiral is just going to recharge it every time. It's actually really amazing and makes use of Swift Sparrow as well, and also get rid of the biggest drawback Ishtar has, which is getting in desperation range is actually pretty dangerous. You could also run Quicken Pulse and then 2 Infantry Pulse instead. That's also something you can do. On the other hand, you have also Lilina, Lilina and Sanaki, which can reach really good attack because of their weapon, but their weapon is not factored in AoEs because Death Blow 3 is during combat and Attack Res Bond is during combat, meaning those extra stats are not considered, but it's considered for Heavy Blade. Now this is gonna sound extremely gimmicky, but something you can do is run Quicken Pulse on Lilina or Sanaki, run 3 Infantry Pulse, an AoE, run Heavy Blade in the A slot, which is now very available because of Gem Key, and then you basically proc the AoE, get 2 charge back, proc Heavy Blade, get 2 charge back, AoE is back on top. So you can just basically keep firing AoEs as well here. As you can see, there's not much outside of AoEs you can do. It's sad, but it is what it is. And then the other unit, or rather set of unit, is Dark Excalibur, so basically Merrick and Sonya. Same reason as Lilina, it's just a bit less consistent is the big problem. You can actually use basic Excalibur since it has CD-1 on Merrick with it, and be somewhat good with it. I say somewhat good because his attack is not great and he doesn't have any way to really fix it. So there's that. Dark Excalibur on the other hand gives an extra 10 damage. So yeah. Next up is the good old comparison. This is really the only one I can show up here. He's basically a better Nino in every way, but Nino is more available. Do keep that in mind as a free player. And if you have a fully merged Nino, well, kind of pointless to run him with Blade Tome, isn't it? Now, Corsetti is a fantastic weapon, especially comboed with Special Spiral. You can actually kind of abuse, and if you do, you can abuse AoEs. If you do that, you want to run Flashing Blade as a seal, for 1. And 2, you also want to run Life and Death as your A slot over Swift Sparrow. Now, Life and Death is not really something I would suggest a lot of time for Lewyn, but the thing is, Swift Sparrow stat increase does not translate at all to AoEs. Life and Death does. So this is why if you go for an AoE set, Life and Death is absolutely better. Otherwise, it's kind of a waste in the sense that it's -5 Death Res for an extra 1 attack and speed. So unless you really like the character, it's kind of pointless to do and over expensive, especially since Swift Sparrow will score better anyway, so yeah. There's that. Still, he's a fantastic unit, and honestly, he's one of the units I'm actually trying to get on my alt right now. But I seem to have used all my luck on my main account instead of my alt, which is fine. I prefer that than the opposite. The opposite makes me salty, so, you know. But, yeah, he's a fantastic unit. It comes down to how you wish to build him. Glimmer is a good idea, and so is AoEs. It really comes down to just opinion. You can also use Dragon Fang. Dragon Fang is actually a pretty good option as well, especially since he comes with Odd Attack Wave. There's not much you can do with Glacius and Ignis anyway, so might as well go all out for attack. And the reason why I say this is because you proc it, you get 2 charge back, you attack again if the target is even alive, which is possible. And then the second time you attack, you get a 2 charge back from Flashing Blade. If you run that as a seal, which you should. He's one of the best speedmonger of this game. That is for Flashing Blade. So, yeah, I think that about covers it up. Let's move on to Ethlyn. Now, I've made the interface from scratch. Whoops. Forget you saw that. I've made the interface from scratch, so it might not look too good. But I like to think I've done decently enough. So, yeah, okay, Ethlyn. Now you might see the rate at the top right. That does not mean she is in the pool, although I wish, because then I could make a +10 of her and a +10 of Quan. But oh well. You should be happy she's not in the pool in one way though, because I was curious, so I checked. She has 4 Super Bane. The only stat she doesn't have a Super Bane in is actually speed, which you wouldn't want to get rid of. So, yeah. The reason why you see the rate here is because there was no other place for me to actually, you know, had the rate for off-banner chains. There is no focus when it comes down to colorless. Now, let's talk about Ethlyn herself. Ethlyn is basically a female paladin, in a way. She is a healer and a sword unit in her own game, and it kind of shows. She has one of the most weird stat spread. Like, no res for a healer cav is not only rare, but actually it's the first time it happens. The highest defense a healer on a cav had beforehand was 22 with Clarion. Now it's 26. So, her stat spread is different enough to differentiate herself from the rest. When it comes down to her kit, however, it's a bit shaky. Fear is a fantastic weapon, though. It allows you to, well, if you go with Dazzling Staff upgrade, you can just straight up have a free attack smoke that doesn't require you to get hurt whatsoever. So it's very consistent. If you go Raffle Staff, well, you have underwhelming attack, but at least you can do damage. Lift to Surf being available at 4-star for a change is a nice change of pace. Speed of Death Bond is... who cares? Who cares? Speed Death Bond is actually kind of shit, if I'm being completely honest. It's one of the worst bond of this game, but it's kind of neat to see it being available for a change. I believe only... I think only New Year Camilla had the skill beforehand. So there's that. It's nice to see that they actually are fine with giving bond skills away. If we could get attack def bond at one point from a Tempestral unit or GHB, that would be fantastic. Because the only units that have attack def bond are not exactly a unit you want to fodder. One is Summer Younger Young Tiki, and the other one is Fjorm. You don't want to kill either of these, sadly. So, oh well, it is what it is. So, outside of that, I was honestly kind of hoping for her to have Dazzling or Raffle Staff. Because one of the big problems a lot of healers have for a lot of people is just they either can't run Razzle Dazzle or it's just too expensive to do. So actually being able to run Razzle Dazzle and Heater for a change would be fantastic, especially for free. But I guess I was kind of expecting a bit much here. But oh well. It is what it is. Still a pretty solid unit. When it comes down to Heater Cav, she actually is on the upper hand of the well, not the upper hand, on the lower hand of the attack side. I believe it's Clarion at 25 with a super boon to 29. Super extreme boon. then it's Ethlyn at 28, then it's Priscilla at 29, Elise at 32, Veronica at 32, and then Maribel at 35, so she is on the lower end, but honestly, it's just the fact that she has a death stat that is actually really interesting. Because it means that even if she doesn't run Dazzling, she can take a hit if required, which is fantastic. Moving on to the comparison, which you've seen a bit before. This is really the best comparison I could use, and it's a very terrible one, if I'm being completely honest. Yes, Ethlyn has a bit more attack. Actually, no, Ethlyn has a bit more of everything but res. But Clarine can be a better mixed tank as a result, which kind of creates a rift between the two. Honestly though, if I'm being completely honest, Ethlyn is still a really solid unit, and the thing that makes her really good, despite being a Tempest Trial unit, despite not having access to Merge, despite not having access to IVs, is because not everyone has a healer build. So this can actually be definitely welcome for quite a few people. A fully 5-star unit with almost a full kit that's functionable at best, but it's still a pretty solid set, especially for a healer where the A slot is the hardest thing to get. Speed Def Bond is not horrible, but it's not great either, but on the bright side, it's something to use. Which is something that a lot of people just don't build healer for, because getting the A slot they can use is very difficult. Or expensive. So I think that about sums it up. I wouldn't say Ethlyn is straight up better than Clarine, but she's not worse either. In conclusion, this is actually a really good banner. My first impression was something I ended up not posting. I did record it, but I feel like I was overly negative over the banner. The main reason why I was this overly negative is purely because, well, I was expecting Lewyn to have like 40 base speed. Because the guy has 90% speed growth rate in his own game. But then I also realized Ares has 90% strength growth rate. And guess what? He's also, you know, 36 attack and less attack than Quan of all things. Which I'm kind of curious. How much attack does Quan have? Well, growth rate does Quan have in his own game? Just out of curiosity. 50%. I mean, I don't mind what happened at the end, but oh wow, his speed is not that far away from his attack, it's just that he doesn't have Pursuit to straight up double. Well, I guess that's that. A character with 50% strength growth rate has more attack than a unit with 90% strength growth rate from the same game. I mean, at the end of the day, still, Ares ended up being a really good unit, and honestly, if he had more attack, he would have been a bit too fragile, maybe. Oh well, it is what it is. Still happy about how this banner turned out and how the Tempest Trial unit turned out. I think I was also a bit too not hellbent, but I was really hoping for certain characters to make it. I was hoping for Lex to making it in, or Azil, and then I saw the kits and I'm like, well, Silvia is the only unit that's going to get demoted. There's no other way anyone else gets demoted. I have a plus 10 Olivia. Why would I ever bother with Silvia? Fuck. And yeah, I still feel the same to some extent, but hey, it is what it is. I was pretty lucky on the banner, and I did manage to merge up enough Quan. Well, or rather, I will merge Quan enough. I'll be doing this on stream, so for those who are actually curious, I'm going to leave that in the description below. I'm also going to leave my Discord in the description below, and yada yada. You know where to find me. So this was a good banner, and I'm going to see you guys later. Have a nice one, everybody.